Now, in this particular project workshop, we try to basically understand what is going to be the role of SAP consultant. So what we are going to be doing as a part of implementation project and support environment. And along with that, I was also trying to mention that we are going to be working with cross-module integration. So sales cannot work independently in a business. So we are going to be working with cross-module integration area as well, where we try to look into how sales is going to be integrated with material management, how sales will be working with LE module, sales with FICO, sales with production planning, sales with ABAP. These are going to be the areas of integration concepts we try to focus on. And this particular skill set is going to be very much required for a functional consultant to work independently in a project. So, one thing, it's going to be totally practical oriented sessions. So every day we are going to be having a class which is going to be scheduled from Monday to Saturday, and the class duration is going to be for 60 to 90 minutes in a day. And there are going to be some additional classes which are going to be conducted on the weekends. I'll give you the total information when you need to attend a particular session 3 to 4 days prior notice. Okay, you can plan accordingly and you can attend that particular classes as well. And along with this, as I mentioned, I'm going to be helping you with the resume preparation to crack the interview. Whatever the skill set is required, the interview questions, I'm going to be sharing it from my end. And how much knowledge 4 years consultant, 3 to 4 years consultant is having, that much of knowledge I try to impart from this particular training program. Only request I want you people to dedicate yourself, work on SAP application, get good understanding to crack the job. Okay, there is no other way. You need to work on the system. Please try to make sure you are going to be spending around 3 to 4 hours in a day. Accommodate yourself accordingly. So it's going to be a practical functionality. And we try to basically discuss the entire life cycle of sales life cycle, where I was trying to explain the process. So the business process flow, sales life cycle flow, how exactly it is going to be working. Where the process is going to be starting with inquiry. We try to convert this inquiry into a quotation document. With reference to this quotation, customer will be going for placing an order. For this particular order, we try to perform delivery. Outbound delivery is the name what we call it as. We make sure the product is going to be delivered to the customer on time. Dispatch activities, we try to call it as dispatch. And once you try to deliver the products to the customer, we are going to be issuing a billing document. An example of a billing document is going to be invoice. And once you issue an invoice or a billing document, we try to update that information to the accounts department. And with reference to that, the finance team will be having from which customer how much payment need to be collected on which date. So this is how the process flow is going to be carried out. And this particular process flow we are going to be mapping into SAP. There are going to be different functionalities what we try to work when you try to work on this particular life cycle. So that is the reason in SAP sales and distribution you are going to be having sub-modules which we are going to be learning it. One on the name of order management, second delivery processing, third billing activities, fourth we call it as a pricing, followed by taxes, This is going to be basically focusing on GST calculations. And followed by cross-module integration. And then comes the next area where we try to work on with the project workshop. So these are all going to be the different areas where we try to work on SAP application. When I'm trying to talk about cross-module integration, all the modules, how sales is going to be integrated with MM, PP, FICO, then we have LE and ABAP integration. And along with that, a few basic concepts of BASIS we try to focus on over here. So this is what overall thing I was trying to explain in my last session. How this particular training program has been designed, what is going to be the outcome of it, and what exactly we are going to be learning it on. So when we try to talk about this order management, delivery processing, and billing activities, there are going to be different business process and business scenarios we are going to be mapping it. Now when we try to talk about business process, OTC cycle is one of it, order to cash. Second is going to be QTC cycle, quotation to cash. Then we have the concept of returns, consignment process, contracts, sample sales, or you can call it as free of charge. These are all going to be some of the business process we try to work it out. Credit notes, debit notes, third-party sales. As many cycles you are going to be having a knowledge on, that much easy is going to be understanding the core sales functionalities. Whereas when we try to talk about business scenarios, there are going to be topics like listing, exclusion, cross-selling, free goods. Like this, we have more material determinations, material substitutions. There are certain topics. There are going to be a lot of business scenarios and business process we are going to be focusing on as well. So a lot of things we are going to be learning it. That is the reason your course has been designed for 5 months, which is going to be very intense training program. So it is going to be covered from basic to advanced level. So a person who is having no knowledge will be expertise once they're done with this particular training, and he can crack the interview with a lot of confidence. So in today's class, going ahead, we try to work with SAP. We try to learn a few things related to SAP application, and we try to understand what is going to be the role of a consultant, and if time permits, we try to work out with the system as well, like how we are going to be logging into SAP application, how the screen behaviors are going to be looking. We try to get that particular intro, only intro. As we go on, we are going to be learning more and more about it. So when we talk about SAP, please call it as SAP only, not as SAP, because as I mentioned earlier, we have an abbreviation maintained for that, where this stands for System, Application and Products, which will be used in data processing. Okay, and it's a German-based software company. It's a German-based software company which is having the headquarters in Germany. It's not an Indian-based or a US-based company. It's a German-based software company. And this ERP application is ruling the market because of the solution what SAP has provided. A lot of ERP application fail to do that. We have a specific solution designed for different industry verticals, for oil and gas, for milk industry, for utility segment, for mill industry, for real estate, for banking. We have solution designed in SAP to map the business requirement. Okay, and companies are trying to use this application for three reasons. Companies use SAP for three reasons. One, to record day-to-day transactions. Whatever transactions are carried out in the business related to inventory, production, sales, HR, everything, they try to keep a record of it. Second, for report generations. Third, for data analysis. So no need to purchase different softwares to perform different activities. This single application is going to be fulfilling the entire requirement of the business. So when we try to talk about this particular SAP, in SAP, you're going to be having three different streams to work. One, we call it as functional modules. Second, technical modules. And third, IS solutions. Step by step, we try to work on each of it. Now, when we talk about functional modules, people who love no coding, they try to choose functional modules. Or people who are working in the domain, non-IT domain, and they want to come into IT, they try to choose functional modules, get trained, and they can get into SAP. So for this, you require some working experience on your particular stream. So marketing people, inventory people, production people. So they need to have some knowledge of how that activity is going to be done. So that will be helping to understand the application in more depth. So there will be no coding involved when you try to work with the functional modules. No coding at all. No coding, please remember. You're going to be having screens. In that screens, you have a checkbox. You need to know if you activate a checkbox, what is the effect of it? When you switch off a checkbox, what is the effect of it? So that is the reason we don't have any kind of coding. And again, in functional modules, we have a number of things. Like first one, we name it as logistics. So when we talk about this logistics, people think this will be taking care of only shipment and transportation. But in SAP, this logistics is having a big meaning. Sales and distribution is one of it. Material management, customer service, customer relationship management, supply chain management. Then we have TM, transportation management, logistic execution, warehouse management, extended warehouse management. These are all going to be the modules part of your logistics. Like production planning, plant maintenance, quality management, all of it is going to be part of your logistics itself. And next area to work on the functional is going to be FICO. So people who come from accounts background, they get trained on FICO. Where, as I mentioned earlier, it is basically a combination of two modules put together, finance and control. So finance will be taking care of your total accounts and CO will be taking care of costing, product costing. So this is going to be another area to work, FICO. And third, HR. So in SAP, we are not naming it as HR, we name it as HCM, Human Capital Management. So all HRs, they can work with HCM module and they can work on it. So these are all going to be the part of your functional stream. Whereas when you try to talk about this technical stream, you require some coding experience or you need to know how computers are going to be working. So people who come from coding background or computer background, they can get trained on the technical modules. Where one of it is going to be ABAP. This is a language. In SAP, if you want to develop any particular screen, code need to be written. And this code is going to be written in this particular language, ABAP language. Then we have basis team. Now, this basis team is going to be purely responsible for SAP system landscape maintenance. They are going to be responsible for server installations, software installations, user authorizations, data transportation. All that activity will be taken care by the basis team. So when we talk about system landscape, You're going to be having development server, quality server, production server. So they handle this particular total service. They will be responsible for SAP application installation. They install this particular software. User authorizations. To which user, what screen access need to be provided. They try to give the authorizations for that. And they will be responsible for data transportation process as well. They are going to be responsible for moving the data. So they play a very important role in the project environment. So few of these things we are going to be working as a part of our training program as well. So how sales is going to be working with the basis team, what data is required, how the data transportation activities are going to be performed as well. Then we have one more module on the name of HANA. This is nothing but database. Whatever data you try to save in SAP will be stored in this particular database. And this database is very powerful because it has been developed based on row plus column format. Okay, before HANA was introduced, SAP was using third-party databases. So they were facing a lot of challenges using that third-party databases. So they came out with a new database called as HANA, which has been totally designed based on row plus column format. And we have advantages why this database has been designed based on row plus column format. So you're going to be finding in a project, certain people will be working only on database management as well. So these are going to be some modules as a part of your technical areas to work. And another area to work is going to be IS solutions, where this IS stands for Industry Specific Solution. These are going to be the advanced areas to work in SAP. Okay, so this is nothing but SAP has provided a solution for different industry verticals. Now, for example, SAP came out with a solution for oil and gas. You name any oil and gas company in India, they are using SAP application. Reliance, HP, BP, ONGC, they are using SAP application. Shell company is also using SAP application. We have a lot of pharmaceutical industries that are using SAP application for their business. Banking sector. Then we have a software solution designed for the retail sector. Milk industries, mill industries, utility segment. They are using SAP. Logistics companies are trying to use SAP. So if you want to get trained on this advanced modules, you need to be masters, you need to be expertise in one of the functional area to work. Then only you can touch this particular modules. So like this, you can have in SAP more than 200 plus modules to work. So you're starting your career as an SAP consultant, but you can't stop working in one area. You need to gain knowledge working in different areas, and you need to build your skill set. Based on that only, there will be a career growth. You will be having a good package as well. A small introduction to SAP modules, how it has been classified and how it is going to be working. Now, once you have this particular information, now comes the next one. So what exactly we are going to be doing on SAP application? So when you deal with SAP, you're going to be finding two screens to work. Okay, you're going to be finding two screens to work. One, we are going to be calling it as front-end application. And second, we name it as back-end application. You're going to be finding two screens to work, front-end and back-end. Now, you need to know exactly what kind of activities will be performed on the front-end and on the back-end. So front-end is going to be the place where we try to basically go for recording day-to-day activities. We name it as day-to-day transactions. Okay, now we are going to be working out with this particular thing. We try to record day-to-day transactions. So when we try to talk about day-to-day transaction, it is going to be with reference to master data and transaction data. So transaction data examples would be nothing but your order, sales order, delivery document, billing document, incoming payments, purchase order, production orders. Those are all going to be part of your transaction data. Whereas when we try to talk about master data, one-time activity, creation of GL accounts, customer records, material records, vendor records, those are all going to be part of your master data. As we go on with the subject, I'm going to listing out what is going to be part of master data, what is going to be part of transaction data, and who will be performing this activity in the real time. Whereas when we try to talk about the backend, backend is going to be the place where we try to build SAP. We build SAP. This is a term what you need to learn. Build. When we try to talk about build, we have a depth meaning for that. But this build is nothing but combination of standard solution plus custom solutions. That is what you mean by build. So we are going to be building SAP based on the business requirement. When we try to talk about standard solution, SAP has provided a solution for the business requirement. We use that particular solution, we map the functionality, and we close the requirement. In case if SAP is not coming out with a standard solution, we are going to be designing the solution for that. That is what we call it as custom solution, where we are going to be developing the solution. Develop solution in SAP, because SAP has not given me a ready-made solution. If there is no ready-made solution available, I need to develop it. If I need to develop, I'm not a person who can write a code. So I need to take the help of ABAP, and he will be writing the code for the developers. So here, this is how the interaction is going to be done. Business who want to use SAP. Business will be sharing all the information to the consultants. How they want SAP application need to be designed and developed. And consultants will be checking in SAP application, do we have any kind of solutions available or not. If solution is available, we use it, we map it, we fulfill the requirement. If there is no standard solution available, we are going to be sharing that particular requirement to our ABAP. We are going to be sharing that requirement to the ABAP because he is a person who knows how to write a code for the developers. So we take the help of ABAP, we ask him to develop a code. Once he develops the code, we test it and we try to make sure the business is going to be using that. So that is what happens when we work on the backend. Backend is a place where we try to build SAP application based on the client requirement. Build SAP application based on business requirements. How business want to use SAP according to their needs, we try to build it and give it to them. Okay, so this build is nothing but using standard solution as I mentioned and custom solutions. Standard solutions plus custom solutions. Because for all business requirement, SAP may not give a solution. So we are going to be designing that for the solution. We design, we develop, and we fulfill. That is what happens when you work in the backend. We try to design, develop, and build the application. These are all going to be part of consultant job role. So people who work on the backend application, we are going to be naming them as consultants. So this is going to be the designation which is going to be offered to us. So this training program is all about consultant job role. So how we are going to be building the application from the backend to map the business requirements. and the persons and the people who will be responsible for recording this master data and transaction data. We name them as end users. We name them as end users. So their job role is going to be very limited on SAP platform. They try to maintain the data into SAP application. They try to feed the data. In simple terms, feed the data into SAP. They have a specific functionality need to be carried out. That's it, nothing more than that. They're set in front of the system, they try to feed the data. Data entry job in simple terms. So there is no much hike, there is no much growth as an end user. Whereas consultant, we are going to be doing a lot of things. The growth is going to be never stopping. A lot of opportunities will be knocking and you need to explore it. So it's going to be continuously learning process. You need to learn the application and based on that you're going to be developing it up. Okay. So this is one thing I wanted to explain. In SAP, that is the reason you're going to be finding two screens to work, front end, back end. Front end will be under the control of end users, back end will be under the control of consultants. Is that clear or do you have any questions, please? All of you are able to follow the role of a consultant and an end user, what we try to do?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now going ahead over here, now giving you more information related to this particular consultant job role. Before that, I want to introduce some terminologies, what we are going to be using very frequently, and you need to adapt that particular terminology if you want to be an SAP consultant. So you're going to be hearing two terms, always, most of the time, business, or we can call it as a client. Business or a client. Companies which want to use SAP, we are going to be calling it as a business. Companies which want to use SAP application, we are going to be calling it as a business. And as I mentioned, why your client want to use SAP? For recording day-to-day transactions, for report generation, and for data analysis. These are the three reasons why they want to use SAP application for. And there are a lot of companies which are using SAP. For example, in the beverage sector, we have Pepsi, we have Coke. Again, in the automobile sector, we have BMW, Audi company, Mercedes companies. Then we have Tata Group. In the FMCG sector, we have Reliance. Oil and gas, we have Reliance, we have HP, Indian Oil, Shell, BP. Again, in pharmaceutical sector, we have Dr. Reddy's Lab, Torrent Pharma, Sun Pharma. Like this, we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies. In the banking space, we have SBI, we have American Express. In the logistics side, we have DHL, we have Indian Post, which is using SAP. In the retail sector, we have Spencer Supermarket, we have D-Mart Supermarket, we have Heritage Group, Walmart Supermarkets. Like this, we have a lot of companies which are using SAP application. So these are nothing but, we name them as business. And these companies want to use SAP application. And these companies want to use SAP application. So if these companies want to use SAP application, they don't have any knowledge how to use this ERP application for their business. So they try to take the help of implementation partners. They try to take the help of implementation partners. So implementation partners are nothing but In simple terms, we can call them as service providers. They provide services on SAP. They provide services on SAP application. Okay. So companies which provide services on SAP, we try to call them as implementation partners on SAP. So all software companies where we land up, TCS, Wipro, Accenture, IBM, these are all what we name it as implementation partners. Ultimately, our job is nothing but to get, not jump goal. Ultimate, our goal is going to be landing up in some of level 5 companies or level 3 companies. And we want that particular tag software consultant. So this is what your implementation partners will be doing. So companies which provide services on SAP, we name them as implementation partners. And the reason why we name them as an implementation partners, they have the license. They purchase the license from SAP. That is the reason we name them as implementation partners. They are the official partners for implementing SAP for any of the client business. So people who work at the client location to record transaction, to run the reports, we name them as end users. So you're going to be finding end users will be working at client locations. Whereas people who develop the application, consultants, will be working for these software companies. You work for these particular companies, and if you are part of a project, you're going to be studying the business process and you're going to be mapping the functionalities. So this is what you need to know. End users are going to be finding at client location. Consultants are going to be part of software companies. And as a consultant, what is going to be our job role? Job role of SAP consultant. What exactly we are going to be doing it on? So we are going to be playing 3 important roles. One, we name it as SAP analyst job role. Second, we act as an SAP configurator. And third, we act as SAP tester. These are the 3 roles what we are going to be doing it up in a implementation project. SAP analyst, SAP configurator, and SAP tester. So I'm just trying to give you some information related to this particular job role. Not in depth, a glance of it, an overview of it. As we go on with the project workshops, in depth, we try to knock it out. We come to know the exact things, each and every minute point we try to discuss, we grab it. So as an analyst, what exactly you mean by this particular point? What exactly we try to do? So as an analyst, first thing, if you are part of a project, we need to visit the client location. Wherever your client is, across the globe, you need to travel. That is what we call it as on-site opportunity. Visit the client location, we try to study the business process of the client. Why client want to use SAP application? What is the reason for that? Study the business process. What are the challenges is facing in using the current ERP application? Why they want to change their ERP application to SAP? What are their requirements? What kind of solutions they are looking in SAP application? You need to identify the challenges. That is going to be the primary job role of an analyst. Identify the business challenges. Once you identify the business challenges, you need to come out with a solution for that. That is what an analyst job role, nothing more than that. We need to get into the client location, study the business process, come up with a solution for that. Now, when we try to talk about study the business process, You're going to be acting as an SD consultant and you're going to be studying only the sales process of that particular business. You're not going to be responsible for studying finance, logistics, inventory management, production planning, no. Each consultant will be performing a particular activity in a project. You are going to be responsible to study sales process. And once you propose a solution, there will be a lot of yes and no with the business, and it should be a win-win situation, and your client need to accept the solution what you are trying to put it on SAP. Once you get the acceptance, then we start working on SAP application where we act as a configurator. That's going to be the second job role. When we talk about configurator job role, we build SAP application. As I mentioned, this build is nothing but combination of your standard solution and custom solutions. It's nothing but combination of standard solution plus custom solutions. So how you're going to be mapping this one, you're going to be finding certain terms used in SAP to map this one build. So this is nothing but, we try to call it as configurations, and second one, customizations. These are the terminologies we work very frequently. Customizations, very simple custom solutions. We develop solution in SAP. Configurations, we use standard solutions. Whatever standard solutions are available, we use it, we map it, we close it. That is the difference between configurations and customizations. So configuration, standard solution. Customizations, custom solutions. So we are going to be using these particular terms, configurations and customizations. So where you are going to be building the application, and once you build the application, then comes the third step where we are going to be acting as a tester. Where we are going to be testing the developed solution. Test the developed solution. Without testing, I can't ask the business to use the application. So we need to act as a tester as well. We are going to be testing the application by using real-time data. Okay, and again, there are going to be different types of testings. We try to work it out. Different types of testings we are going to be doing it up. So one, we call it as unit testing. Then we have scenario testing. Then we have integration testing, regression testing, smoke testing. There are going to be number of testing, UAT, user acceptance testing. Lot of testings will be done, and once it is signed off, then only project will be going live. Until then, your project is not going to be live. So SAP project is going to be very expensive. Client need to spend a lot of money on SAP. That is the reason your packages are very high compared to other platforms. You're going to be getting good pay. If you have the skill, you can demand. And where a lot of skilled people are missing in the market because of lack of knowledge. They're not getting trained properly. They're not working on application. So no hands-on experience on SAP application. So if you don't have hands-on experience, you cannot crack the interviews. So please practice. If you practice, we can get to know the functionalities in the code. SAP took almost around 32 years for developing this application. Please remember, SAP took 32 years for developing this application. This application has been not built in 5 years and it has been released in the market. Before they released this application in the market, they took 32 years for the development. So you can imagine how depth the solution has been designed to map the entire business process. And it's a very big ERP application. Okay, it's going to be supporting all the departments in a business. So normally in a business, you're going to be finding different departments. You're going to be finding sales department, production department, logistics department, inventory department, purchase department, supply chain department, warehouse management department, yard management, customer service, customer relationships, HR team, payroll team, SuccessFactors, finance, controlling, costing. You're going to be having number of departments. And this one application we are going to be using for integration. All modules will be integrated, highly integrated. Okay. That is the reason we have a lot of scope in SAP to work. So these are the things which I wanted to put down before we work anything related to the application part. You need to know who will be called as a business or a client. Second thing, who will be named as an implementation partners. These are the two terminologies. And apart from that, what is going to be the role of an end user? So end user will be working on the front-end application where he will be given access to record master data and transaction data. Whereas as a consultant, we try to build the application. We design, we develop, we build the application. These are the activities. So we always work on the back end. Develop, 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 develop. That's it. We are not going to be working on the front end to record the day-to-day activities. We work only on the back end, developing the application. And I was trying to talk about this particular thing, how SAP is going to be classified as functional, technical, and IS solution. So people who come from non-coding background, you can pick any module under functional, train, and look for a job. So this is what I wanted to put down in today's class, giving you an explanation related to the job role of a consultant and the end user, what exactly we try to perform it. In the next session, I'm going to be starting with system navigation. I try to show you the system appearance, the screen's behavior, how the front-end application will be looking, the back-end application, along with the Fiori application as well, the user interface, which is a modern application what SAP has provided. We get to know the system details, and then we try to start working with the first chapter related to the sales. So if people are having any questions which need to be addressed, do let me know. I can help you out. Any doubts you are having in today's class? You're able to understand the things what I'm trying to explain it.
Hi, sir. Myself, Ganesh.
Hi, Ganesh.
Yeah. So actually, I have completed my degree in hotel management, sir, in 2015.
Okay.
Since then, I have worked as a freelancer, which is not related to this industry actually. So it's in
Okay.
art industry. So can I choose SAP SD consultant now, sir, as a career?
As a
I have
career.
almost 10 years gap.
How you want to show that 10 years?
Actually, I need to show the genuine experience for last past 6 years, and after that, 3 to 4 years of SAP consultant experience.
That can be fulfilled, man. Not a problem. You can show 4 to 5 years on SAP and you can hit the market, but not 5 years. Maximum is going to be a 4 years, not more than that.
Okay. Okay. So my question was, okay, my degree was hotel management. bachelor's
Yeah.
degree in hotel management. Can I choose this? Can I opt this?
Yeah,
Will
no
there be
problem.
any?
No, that is not going to be a problem at all because I was not revealing anything yesterday and today. So, talking about my education background, I done my BTech in electronics and communication. I done my master's in electronics, and now I'm acting as an SAP SD consultant.
Okay.
Nothing to do with my education and what I'm trying to do at the moment. So it is going to be well absented. Only thing you need to justify related to the questions what they ask. If you give a proper answers for that, it can be done.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Satish, can you brief on SAP hierarchy in the job roles? Yeah. Uh, okay. Now, as an SAP consultant, this is how the hierarchy will be looking. Then under SAP consultants, the first position would be associate consultant. So persons who are having less than 3 years, 0 to 3 years, this would be the designation of it. And we have followed by SAP consultants. So this would be around 3 to 5 years or maybe 6 years. Around 3 to 6 years, this would be the role. And we have senior consultants, senior SAP consultants, who's having around the work experience of 6 to 8 years. Or 10 years as well. Then you're going to be having team lead positions. So where they mostly check around 8 to 10 years of knowledge. Then you are going to be having project lead or project manager. They will be having more than 12 plus years of experience. And this project manager or the project lead will be having at least knowledge on working in 3 to 4 functional models. So SD, MM, PP, or FICO, we will be having the core functionalities on that. And people who are having almost around 18 years of work experience, they try to be a delivery manager. They act as a delivery manager who try to drive the project. And their responsibility is nothing but getting the project for the company. They try to do the interaction with the client, they get that particular project. And they are going to be subject matter experts. These two people are going to be subject matter experts in any area. This is how the career growth is going to be there.